So my name is Maja Kölqvist and I founded the studio about 10 years ago. And mainly, no, not mainly, I do work a lot with art and fashion. It's sort of the two sides of my practice, basically. Although we're starting to do more identities as well. But I would say mostly books and art. And I became a graphic designer because I wanted to do books, basically. So it's one of my main interests. But then I also love magazines and fashion. So that's always been basically the base of my practice. I don't know, I think I remember when I was a kid we used to pass this paper mill going to our summer house, and my father used to work for them. So we went in there and they actually had a lot of old magazines and to process new papers. So you can go in there and you can get all the cartoons and but you could also get lots of fashion magazines. So I had all these Vogue, and my parents thought it was quite cute that I collected Vogue from the age of 4. So I have all these old Vogue magazines, and so I guess it was early on I was interested in that, and I was interested in images basically, and I used to cut them out and put them on the walls when I was a kid, different fashion pictures and that I liked, and so that was, I think that's the start of my interest. And then I wanted, as a kid, also write books, but I'm dyslexic, so I kind of realized I can't write books. Or, of course I can, but I was told I couldn't, so then I decided I'm going to design them. So that was so I always think I know what I'm supposed to do. Well, HONORE for us was a way to meet people that inspire us and also inspire others. It's that was, I think, the base of it was to me. It's what I love when I work on a magazine is you have an opportunity to meet all these interesting people, and you can then inspire other people with what you do. So I think that's sort of the main reason we did the magazine, was to do that. I was going to say it's the most important, for me, the most important thing is how, when you touch and feel a book. And that's why I love having a book in my hands. It's the papers, what kind of technique you use when you print, it's super important. Sometimes it's the most important thing, I think. And I think a lot of my clients come here because they ask for that kind of, the feeling of textures and how I kind of mix materials and techniques. I think that's really a big part of my practice. I still think there is print, and I have a feeling print is getting more and more important in one way. It might be smaller editions, but a lot of precious stuff will be printed, and so I think it's just a circle of things. Of course there are things that disappear, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, and but it's always come back. I have a feeling it's it just perhaps also haven't changed that much. We still get a lot of print requests on that, and yeah. So I'm not worried about that part at all. I met this artist, Anna Kleberg, and there's also an art historian, Emily, in this group, and we actually just wanted to do exhibitions that we would like to see. So the purpose was never to sell, although if we sold, that would be great for the artists, but for us it was mainly an excuse to meet new people and meet new artists, and also kind of understand the scene in Stockholm. For me it was a great way to get to know a lot of artists. and yeah, to create the space that we missed in Stockholm. And I think a lot of things have changed since we started. There's a lot more similar spaces. That's not necessarily like a classical gallery, but at the time we were kind of alone doing that. No, I think it's always like follow your heart. It's, you know, be true to yourself, follow your heart. That's always the main thing. And I think, I don't know, this is kind of particular for Sweden, but you don't have a history of being an assistant. And I think being an assistant is one of the best times you can do. Is like if you work for someone who you really like, it's a very learning experience. And it's also, it's just a fantastic way to get to know, like, tips and tricks and to get to know people, and because it's actually like you're going to work the rest of your life, so why don't you spend a couple of years just gathering all this kind of information you can't get from school? And that's always my main, like, you don't have to open the studio straight out of school. You can, you know, you're going to work for a very long time. So, and travel and see, try to work in different countries, because it is, now I kind of contradict myself, but there is, in different countries, there is different kind of way of looking on design. And when I worked in England, for me it was like, purple is perceived as a kind of male color, which is Sweden, it's not. No, so it's like you get to know all these kind of different angles of culture, which is always good to have.
Okay. Jag säger direkt